Let me go over here and go to the YouTube page. Make sure it's muted. Looks like I got a dragon born in the room. It hasn't got to, let me refresh there. And let's see if it started doing yet. There it goes. Here and go to the YouTube page. Make sure it's muted. There we go. Maybe I can close this one. No, I shouldn't close that one. Close this one. And let's see, start. Where's the chat room? Well, I don't see the questions. I have the questions and answers things fired up. Maybe I just can't see it. Okay. Well, while I'm waiting for people to show up here, which one showed up and then split. He was supposed to listen to the video, but Fire Prepper decided to go get something to eat. Well, I mean Zion Prepper, not Fire Prepper. Read his book, you'd think it's Fire Prepper. Okay. Got that. I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share now. This one. And let everybody listen to this short interview about the Shemitah. That way you'll know what I'm talking about tonight. And let me see if this works now, if this works properly.
Millions of readers worldwide were spellbound by Jonathan Cahn's blockbuster book, The Harbinger. Now he has a new book that he says holds the key to the rise and fall of nations, economic recession, financial collapse, and your future. It is called The Mystery of the Shemitah, and Jonathan joins us now with more on that. First off, welcome. And what is the Shemitah?
The Shemitah is a mystery that goes back 3,000 years from Moses, literally, that God gave to Israel that lies behind the rising and crashing of Wall Street, the rise of America, and what may be the fall of America. Really, it is the key in the Bible of God's timing, of God's plan. It begins in the Torah when God gives to Israel a pattern. He says, every 7th year, you will have a Sabbath rest. No sowing, no reaping, just total rest. The Shemitah year, it's called the Shemitah, builds up to its conclusion at the end, near the autumn. It's called Elul 29, the final day. On that day, Elul 29, all debt is wiped out, all credits wiped out, financial accounts wiped clean. Now, the Shemitah was supposed to be a blessing, but when Israel turned away from God, the Shemitah becomes a sign of judgment on a nation that has turned away from God, that strikes the financial realm. Now, the amazing thing is this mystery has been behind the collapsing of Wall Street for our entire lifetime. And this mystery, has pinpointed literally the collapse of our economy down to the days, down to the hours, down to the seconds. And it's even, we're coming to one right now. We're coming to one. And it has always marked gigantic, massive change and the plans of God. It even is linked to the key behind end time prophecy, and even marks Israel, the return of Jerusalem, the return. It's so big. That's why I wasn't planning on doing another book for a while, but this is so big that it literally has affected every part of our life. It is going to affect our lives.
Take us back again to the history of ancient Israel. How did it play out during that time?
Yeah, well, here's what happened. They turned away from God. Now, God said, always keep this Shemitah year, this Sabbath year. Mm-hmm. They stopped doing it. And what happened was, in 586 BC, the nation was judged, and it was literally wiped away. And they were taken to Babylon, the captivity, for 70 years. Well, God said, the reason is that for all the Shemitahs you broke, now the land will rest for all the years it did not rest. So the Shemitah literally becomes something not only wipes away accounts, it wipes away nations. It is linked behind, for this to happen, the Babylonian Empire, which did this, had to have risen, had to have fallen. So it even is behind all of world history. I mean, and for instance, if you look at the greatest long-term crashes in American history, the majority of them all cluster around the Shemitah, all of them. The last 40 years, you have 5 major collapses in the stock market. Every single one of them happens according to the Shemitah. In 2001, you had the greatest collapse in American history, stock market. It was caused by 9/11, actually, anniversary. That happened on Elul 29, the exact date given in the Bible to wipe away.
Hey Dave, how do I get
the nation?
The same thing on my laptop.
On the exact
Hang
date.
on.
That record last.
How do you what?
I want to watch it on my laptop instead of this little tiny iPhone or Droid phone. How do I get it on my laptop?
You go to your Google Plus account
Okay.
and sign in.
Google Plus. Okay. Stupid question. I'm not. Can I get there through Google Mail?
No. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think so.
All right. I'm on YouTube and I'm on. Let me get to my Google Plus. All right. Google Plus.
I don't know why you hung up for it. You should have been listening to it.
Well, I didn't have time. I just literally just walked in the door. Let me see here. Google Plus. Google Blog. Take a look. I don't think I've even ever used Google Plus. That's my problem. I've never used it.
Well, you must have, because I sent you the invite through Google Plus, and you're on Google Plus now.
Okay, well, I'm trying to figure out how the hell I did that, because 2 seconds. I'll get it figured out here.
I can't believe you've never heard of the Shemitah.
No, I haven't.
Where do you get your news from?
I don't usually watch TV or so I don't really get news from anywhere. Let's see, here we go.
Well, you're a member of the Ostrich Network.
What the heck is that?
That's where you got your head stuck in the sand.
Nope, has nothing to do with that. I'm so busy doing stuff, outside doing stuff. By the time I get in, it's 11, 12 at night and it's dark. Okay, Hangouts, here it is. Let me see. All right. Okay, I'm here. Hangouts on air.
You find it?
Yep, almost here. Okay, there you are. Add you to circles. Okay.
Click on the little green camera.
Yeah, hang on here. Says Dave isn't on the Hangouts right now. He'll see your message later.
No, I'm on the Hangout. You may have to have the wrong Hangout.
Yeah, I'm at your Dave Sardi channel.
Yeah, we'll go to the Hangouts on the air.
Yep, that's okay. Hang on here. Profile back. Okay.
I'll try sending another invite to you. Maybe.
All right. Hangouts on the air. There we go. Okay. Loading. Oh, there you are. I got you. Yep. All right, I got you.
All right. Are you on the YouTube one? Or are you on the Google Plus one?
Google Plus.
Because you're here through your phone right now.
Yeah, hang on. I'm gonna jump off. Hang on.
Yeah, we'll go to the Hangout. Okay, while you're figuring that out, I'm going to go ahead and start up this video again.
For 7 years. In 2008, it is broken by the Great Recession. The other greatest collapse happens in September 2008. When did that happen? On the exact same biblical day that God gave to wipe away, Rule 29, wipe away the financial accounts of a nation. In fact, you look at the two, just think about this. The two greatest collapses in American history each happened on the exact day, the same day of the Bible that's appointed, and they happened how long apart, how far apart? 7 years exactly, Hebrew years down to the day, the hour, the minute, and the second. So this is what happened. It's so precise, and we are heading to another one, and it has even affected the rise of America. If you look at the key Shemitahs in the century, you know, one of them is 1917. That's the year America begins its rise in World War I, shifts world history. You go in the future, you get to 1945, another Shemitah, America becomes the superpower it becomes. But then when you get to another one, 1973, you have the beginning of a fall of America. You have America legalizes abortion. The financial world collapses. We lose our first war, Vietnam, on the same day that we won World War II on the other Shemitah. And then when you get to you go in exactly 4 Shemitahs, you get to 2001, which is, and when you get to September, that's the peak of the Shemitah. That last week, that's when 9/11 happens. The word Shemitah means also collapse. And literally you have not only the collapse of the market, you have the collapse of towers, the symbol of American strength. The warning is, if America doesn't turn back to God, its blessings, which come from God, will be removed from the lives.
Here we stand at 2014.
Yes.
How does the command apply today? Many people looking at those dates that you've already outlined, but right now, where do we stand?
Well, Israel's the nation that was under the command, you know, but then the Shemitah becomes a prophetic sign which can apply to anyone and anywhere. And the thing is that the Shemitah is beginning this month, very shortly. Now again, I'm not setting dates, even though in the book I give dates, you know, but God doesn't have to do it according to our schedule. But I believe we need to be aware and we need to be prepared. Usually the pattern is this, that it happens at the end of the Shemitah year is when you have the climax. That's what last two is on the exact day. So that is September 2015.
Right.
Now the other thing is that I believe that regardless of when it happens, I believe a great shaking is coming to America. I believe it will affect the economy. It will affect the financial realm. I believe it will even be greater than those realms. Just like 9/11 was. 9/11 actually caused that great collapse. So I believe we need to be ready. I believe a shaking is coming because without a shaking, America's not coming back to God. I believe this has to be. It doesn't have to happen this time, but I would be aware of it. That's one of the reasons why I normally don't give dates, but I did. But we need to be ready.
So looking towards 2015, what should we be doing to get ready?
I believe, and I'm not a financial analyst, but most important thing, when people say, I want to be safe, I want safety. Well, the word in Hebrew for safety is Yeshua, and Yeshua is Jesus. The most important thing for safety is that you get your life right with God. Most important thing. In times of judgment, you're right, your life right. Anything's not in God, get it out. Anything that needs to be, get it in. Secondly, as far as financially, I would play it safe. I'm just talking personally. I would go for safety, you know, with that. But most importantly is get things right with God, truly.
That's critical. May you also speak about something in your book called the month of Tishri. Am I correct in pronouncing that? What is it?
Tishri is here's the thing. Financial analysts have always been mystified that the stock market always seems to have these greatest crashes around October and September, October. If you're probably aware of it, they could never explain it. Well, the Bible explains it. In the Shemitah, the time of the year that manifests the crash of the Shemitah is Tishri. Tishri is September, October. And so if you look at the greatest percentage crashes in history, in American history, the majority of them all cluster around this little period of Tishri. I mean, amazing. All of them. I mean, and so Tishri is the thing. Now that again, that's September, October. That's when the Shemitah begins and ends. So that is the key. And the other thing, if you look at the greatest point crashes in American history, the top 5 all cluster around Elul 29 that day given. So I mean, it's really how exact this is really mind-boggling. When this started coming, this begins in the Harbinger. I mean, because and then but most of what's here is all new, because I didn't expect to write this, but it's so big that, and I was amazed that it has not been seen before, but it's there, and you'd expect it. I mean, God is in charge of everything, and the patterns that He gives are true even to this day, and they are affecting every one of our lives from the day we were born until now, and they will. I have no question they will affect us in the times to come. I've had financial analysts who come and said, "This is exactly what's there," and so we need to be ready. We need to be ready because everything that can be shaken will be shaken.
Indeed. Jonathan Kahn, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
My blessing.
Excellent insight.
My blessing effort.
God bless you.
All right, let's see. Well, that was a short overview of the Shemitah. Now, I guess Zion has not figured out how to click on the link I sent him. You get back in the room on his laptop. So I will be here all but lonely and by myself. Let's see if I can go over to the YouTube section and see if there's any comments over here. I have the questions section set up on YouTube. Okay, let me refresh it. Apparently it's not auto refreshing. Figured out how to click on the link I sent him. You get back in the room on his laptop. It'll be. Oh, you got it figured out now, huh?
Yeah, I didn't have any of the plugins installed because I've never used it. So.
Oh, you need to shave.
That's my hunting beard.
Hunting beard. What are you hunting for?
I'll come out to your place, get some deer.
Deer?
Yeah.
I only got 4 or 5.
100.
I got 4 or 500.
You got a herd.
I might, huh?
You got a herd, don't you?
Yeah, about 5, 6 maybe.
Oh, okay.
I only seen 1 buck. Most of them are does. My grocery bill's so high, I'm thinking about taking one this year.
Yeah, that's why we're doing it. What happened? Let me see.
Oh, you got your camera on.
Well, no, I don't even know what the heck I did. What did I do?
That's right here. Let me turn my camera on. I'm starting where I'm not shaving again, too, for the winter. Where's it at? Where's my camera?
Yeah, it's just got your Air Force picture.
I'm trying to find my camera. There it is. Okay. Show's over. Let's see.
Oh, there it is. That's cool. Capture.
Trying to get people to join in. We can have up to 10 people in this chat. Mindy's the one that said, she made a comment, said she wanted a Bible chat again.
Uh-huh.
So, did you see that video I just posted?
No, I didn't watch it yet. No, I just got home.
I mean, the one I just was playing.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see it all. I saw a good portion of it.
Actually, you've heard of the Harbinger then?
Well, now, as of today, yes.
I mean, you never heard of the Harbinger either?
Correct. Hey,
I got a church?
Do I go to church? Yeah, I go to church.
Preachers don't talk nothing about this religious stuff going on right now?
Well, I'm sure they do. I probably don't pay attention.
Well, that's going to turn around and bite you in the butt.
Why is that?
You're not paying attention to what's being said in church? Think about it.
That doesn't mean that doesn't make me a bad guy. It just makes me. Why? I can't figure this out.
Come here, Dax. Lie down. Quit begging. Yeah, a lot of things going on right now. You know, and then you top it off with us being in more debt than ever.
Right, that I know.
We're
Yep.
picking fights with everybody all over the globe. And the Russia, they have they can EMP us, so
Yep.
there's no telling what can cause the collapse of the dollar. We've got about a year, according to the four. Have you ever heard of the four blood moons?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. All this is happening at the same time right now.
Right.
You got the Shemitah, you got the four blood moons, you got the harbingers. You know what happened on the first blood moon?
No.
Well, if you would have checked out the videos on the harbinger, you would know that the Eris tree was destroyed, the same tree that was planted on from 9/11.
Oh, was that a tree with a special seed, or only grows in the?
No,
Was the only one to survive or grow in that specific place, or?
no,
Okay.
it was a cedar tree. The sycamore was
Oh.
destroyed by 9/11, by the tower falling down, right in front of the.
Right in front of the what?
Washington was elected first president. He went into that very same church and prayed for our nation.
Mm-hmm.
After those towers fell, all the buildings around it was damaged, except for that church. The tree was knocked down. They replaced it with the cedar tree.
Okay.
On the first blood moon, the cedar tree had been withering away, just like the one Israel planted. It was doing the same exact thing. It withered away, and on the first blood moon, they cut it down and destroyed it. So you'd have to watch the video of the harbinger first, then watch the video on the Shemitah. There's plenty of quickie videos on the harbinger that can give you a quick overview of it.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
I mean, spend about an hour and check out what's going on. I mean, I watched another thing on the Antichrist. Everybody thinks the Antichrist is from America. Only arrogant Americans would think we're the center of the universe. And the injury to the head spoken in Revelations has already happened to the leader. It was from the Ottoman Empire that was destroyed in 1926. And that was the fatal injury. And when it revives, it'll come out of Turkey. And the Turkish president right now came out and said he wants to revive the Ottoman Empire. Turkey used to be the center of the Ottoman Empire, and they're working to restore it now. So that was the head that received the fatal blow. The beast system was all the seven, what was it, 7 empires? You remember the statue with the head of gold, feet of clay?
Yep. Yep.
The clay was the Ottoman, and it was destroyed in 1926, finished the blow, and they thought it would never come back. And it's working on coming back. They're going to try to restore the Ottoman Empire over in Turkey now. That will reunite all of the Muslim countries. But in order for all this to happen, something has to take us out of the picture. It's going to take us off the world stage. Now, knowing that something has to happen to take us out of the picture, all these signs in the heavens, the blood moons, the Shemitah, the debt, the wars we're in, the out-of-control government, you add all that up, and that sounds like a perfect storm to me.
Yeah, that's why I'm outside all the time preparing my family for whatever happens. So if something happens, we'll be ready to the best of our ability. But I got friends like you who tell me, hey, it's time to duck and run.
It's time to start watching what's going on.
Well, see, like I said, I got friends like you who can tell me that. You just say, hey, Foster, watch this, watch that. Got your back.
I'm hoping to be skedaddled out of work at my location by the here pretty soon. I'll be far away.
Yeah.
You know, all that them other doomsday predictions were small cries compared to this one. I mean, 2012, that was just a Mayan calendar thing. Year 2000, Y2K, that was a computer glitch put on by Microsoft so they could sell new software. Hey, let's sell new software updates so we can tell everybody, you know, so we'll tell everybody the computer's going to crash. And they did, because everybody ran out and updated their computers.
Yep.
Then we got, let's see. Okay, 4 Blood Moon. All of it's coming due this year, so something's going to happen. I don't know what, but whatever it is going to take us out of the picture. We're not going to be front and center stage on the whole world after whatever happens.
Yeah. I worry.
Well, I'm not worried. I kind of hope we hurry up and get over with. Because think about it. If all this happens according to the Bible, that means Jesus will be back soon. Then we won't have to worry about it.
That's true.
Yeah, all you got to do is survive, what, 3.5 or 7 years? I'm not exactly sure.
Is that what it is? And then it's what, like the earth kind of resets?
Well, the 7-year tribulations. Haven't you read the Bible?
Yes, I have. I just don't connect the dots and all this. I mean, my interests are. I'll be frank with you. When I'm not at work, I'm outdoors, and then I come home, sleep, go to work, and I'm back outdoors again. So, I mean, we go to church on Sunday, and that's.
Well, bring your computer outdoors with you.
Yeah. No, the whole idea is to not have technology with me, because I get it technology about 70 hours a week during work. So I take, wrap my cell phone in aluminum foil, and that's that.
Well, I don't even have a cell phone.
Yeah.
All I have is the internet. That's it.
Yeah.
My phone, my video, my television, everything comes through the internet. But when the internet goes down, I'll be SOL. I won't have nothing except a little bitty ham radio.
Yep, I got those.
You ever get your license?
Nope.
Would help to get that.
No, I mean, if I have to transmit, it's going to be as a pirate, and it's going to be in a situation not like today.
You know how to set your SWR, cut your antennas to the proper length for your frequency and all that?
No, but as a chemist, I know all the formulas for frequency and half-wave lengths and everything, but I've never done it. So that'd be something when I get settled in. I'll have you over, or I'll bring them out, and you can show me how to. I know how to tune them in and use them. I've obviously never ever transmitted because I don't have the experience.
Well, what kind of radios you got?
Well, these are old. They were given to me free. NCR radio from the 1950s. So they're tube, and I've got boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of tubes and mercury switches, and the gentleman gave me. So that's 2 NCRs. Actually, 1 NCR, I've got one Kenwood. It's one of the first hybrid tube/electronic integrated systems, so it has both in it. And then I have got a. There's another Panasonic. It's a little Panasonic. I forget what it is. UHF? I can't even remember what it is. I got like 4. Then I've got a couple CBs from the 1960s that are the old turn dial, light up kind, a 23 channel.
What brand?
Whatever the Radio Shack brand was.
That's realistic.
Realistic. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. And then I got a Panasonic early 1970s 42, 46 channel CB?
40.
40. And then I have I got a shitload. I do have my GMRS license, and I have quite a few GMRS radios. I have quite a few MERS systems, including security systems.
Well, that GMRS, you can get one of those Bofang radios and tune it in.
That's what I have. I have 4 Bofangs.
And hook it to a directional antenna. And when other people are talking, you can take that directional antenna and tell where they're at.
Oh, you triangulate?
Well, you need 2 separate readings to triangulate, but you can tell the distance. The signal strength, and point it and see where it gets and see what general direction it's coming from.
Oh, okay. That's pretty simple.
Because
yeah, I've got 4 Biofangs.
If we did have an EMP attack, most of those little radios would be dead because nobody's got them in shielded locations.
Yeah, I do. The little ones, I'm not worried about the tube NCR tube one. The Kenwood and the Panasonic would go kerplunk unless I shielded them.
Well, let's see. The aluminum trash can works if you remember to take the aluminum tape and wrap around the seal where the lid goes.
Right. You also need to line it with. We use a very thin cardboard.
I just put a blanket in there. I got so many blankets around here.
Wow, that's a great. That's actually easy.
I just pack everything in there. Fold a blanket over the trash can and then dump all the stuff in there and fold the blanket in and smash the lid down on it.
Yeah, that's a hell of a lot easier. That's for sure.
Well, plus, when you open it up, you got a nice wool army blanket.
Yep. I bought. How many did I buy that? I bought 8 army wool blankets. This was a couple years ago, and used them ever since and love them. They're just the greatest. I take them when I hunt and I shoot, and they're just very durable.
I got a couple of those Italian wool, 100% wool ones. Those are the heavy ones.
Yeah, I just have the standard issue.
The Italian ones are like, instead of 76 by 80, they're like 80 by 60 instead of 76 by 60. It's like it's a couple of inches bigger than the United States one, but it's like twice as thick.
Yeah, no, I got the U.S. standard issue. I got it as military surplus, and then I've just got a shitload of military surplus cold weather gear. I've got everything from the socks to the thermals to the thermals to the hats to the liners. Got a lot of that for really, really, really cheap. So I bought that. Plenty of camo.
Well, you're in the middle of the city. What do you need camo for?
Middle of the city? No, I'm way out right now.
Well, yeah, I call that where you're at, in the middle of the city.
Yeah, you're right. We're real close. But that's kind of trying to, balance our life of my career, my work.
Let's put it this way: it's better than 90% of the other people around Nashville.
Yeah, but you know what? Like we talked about where your place is, it's just a small walk to be on your property. So,
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying to get out of here.
right, exactly.
I've got another location scoped out, or a couple of them that I can go to. One of them, I could probably make 4 trips from here to there on one tank full of gas with the truck. So I'd load up stuff on the trailer, and I could be there within 2 days with nearly all my prepper supplies. Guns, ammo, food, even the horse and the dogs and chickens and everything.
Well, we could also, in a quick situation, you just come up to our place.
Why would I want to go further into closer to the city? I'm going further away.
If you could get there, I'm saying if you couldn't, you'd at least be with a community of people who are in the right mindset and medical care and engineer background, and we have pretty good skill set.
What kind of engineer?
He's electrical. My wife's a nurse.
Well, electrical should be able to have ham radio. That should fit right in.
Yeah, oh yeah. He doesn't have an interest in it, but he pick it up. I want to learn all that shit for my own personal skill set. So
I'm an electrical engineer in a way.
Yeah.
Every time something needs to be hooked up, I have to engineer the system.
Yeah, exactly.
I sure ain't paying nobody else to do it.
Yeah, right. Well, I agree.
I put solar panel in this other guy's barn not too long ago. It was like, how do you want to hook it? And we had to engineer the system.
Yeah.
It may look like a redneck did it.
Yeah.
I thought, we used all shielded wiring and everything else, so it should be good.
Look up the trailer. Yeah. All right, I'll be back, Dave. I gotta go hook a trailer up real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, where is everybody else? I sent out. Now, they wanted me to do a chat. I do a chat, and nobody shows up. There you go. That's how things work, isn't it? Let me look over here in the YouTube room and see if anybody's saying anything. Sometimes this doesn't work. I can't get the chat to roll around, so I wound up having to refresh. Jim Baker's on the television. I don't have TV. Well, I've seen him occasionally. Wait a minute, Jim Baker. He's gone, isn't he? He ain't on there anymore. That's an old one. Unless there's another Jim Baker. Control C. Let me look and see if that's the same Jim Baker. I don't know. It got older. It might be the same Jim Baker. He got a different wife, though. I don't know if I'd trust Jim Baker if he's the same guy. He got in trouble about 20 years ago for, anyway. So no, I don't think I watched Jim Baker. Okay. Anyway, nobody knows about the Antichrist. Yeah. So I put a link into the more info section that I shared. I think it shows up here on YouTube. I'm not exactly sure. I shared a link. Let's see if it's under show more. No. Or I don't know how it shows up in YouTube, but I supposedly shared a link. Let me try it again. You go to that page that I wanted to share first. Where's that? There it is. Get the link. And see if I can get this thing to work. Under Showcase. Oh. All right, I put it in there. Now, I don't know if y'all can see that link or not, but I shared a link into YouTube. It's supposed to be there under Showcase. And let me look over here, and I don't see it. Isn't that special? Another thing that doesn't work with YouTube. And YouTube and Google just suck. But it's free, so I guess we can't complain. Not something I'm not paying for. Well, I guess I could play this other video for y'all here that don't know about the other, but it's a 50-minute video. Maybe I'll keep this chat up on the page, and y'all will then know what it is. We talk about the Antichrist. Since I can't get the link to show up, I'll have to share the video. Share. Well, that didn't work. Looks cool, but it didn't work. Share. All right, there's that.
In this broadcast, we'll discover the ancient mark of Satan's kingdom. We'll find out who Babylon the Great really is. And we'll discover why Turkey will be the seat of the Antichrist. Good day. Many have long speculated on who Babylon the Great really is. Rome has been the prime candidate for many, as well as New York. But neither of these is the true Babylon. The Bible tells us that this Babylon is a mystery to the world, but the Bible declares plainly exactly where Mystery Babylon is located. It's not the original Babylon in Iraq, but yet its practices are identical to Babylon's. The Babylonian religious system revolved around the worship of the heavens, the sun, moon, and stars. The crescent and star symbol is the very key not only to who Mystery Babylon is, but also to the identity of the beast. The crescent and star is known to be the symbol of Islam. But these ancient and demonic symbols were also the very symbols of Baal-Hamon. Baal, the ancient Mesopotamian false god mentioned in the Bible, who was worshipped together with Ashtaroth, the star goddess. These symbols go all the way back to Nimrod and Semiramis. Semiramis was the wife of Nimrod, that she was also his mother. This disgusting harlot started all the false religions of the world. When God changed the people's languages and they stopped building Nimrod's Tower of Babel, this cult of Nimrod and Semiramis continued to spread into those divided nations, most of which have a god and goddess as the basis of their false religion, which began with Nimrod and Semiramis. Their cult went from one empire to the next. In Egypt, they were called Osiris and Isis. In Assyria, Asher and Ishtar. In Babylon, Bel and Belit. In Persia, Mithra and Anahita. In Greece, Helios and Artemis. In Rome, Apollo and Diana. Throughout the Bible, they are mainly called Baal and Ashtaroth, the Queen of Heaven. In the book of Acts, they are called Moloch and Rephan. You even took along the tent of Moloch, the star of your god Rephan, and the images you made in order to worship them. But throughout all their name changes, one thing remained the same. The symbols by which these false gods are identified: the crescent and star. In Egypt, the crescent and star was carried on the head of Isis, and the Apis bull also carried the sun disk image of Isis between his crescent-shaped horns. And if you take a closer look, you can see that the real author of these symbols is the serpent, and he is the one receiving the worship through these symbols of the crescent and star. The Bible tells us that the serpent is Satan. During Roman times, Semiramis was worshipped under the name Diana. Diana's image was once again the crescent and star of Islam, and they too bowed down and worshipped her image in the form of a meteorite which fell from heaven, because the meteorite depicted her astrological moon and star image. When the apostles tried to minister to the people in Ephesus, all of them with one voice went on crying out for about 2 hours, "Great is Diana of Ephesus." And having quieted the crowd, the city clerk said, "Men of Ephesus, for what man is there who does not know that the city of the Ephesians is the temple keeper of the great goddess Diana and of the image fallen from heaven?" Clearly the image which fell from heaven was a meteorite, and the worshippers of Diana all worshipped her in the same way, by shouting, "Great, great, great is Diana." This is exactly how the Muslims praise Allah, and they bow toward the city of Mecca, repeating Allahu Akbar over and over again. For Allahu Akbar means Allah is great, and it's the very same cry heard by the worshippers of Diana as they bow toward the great city of Mecca. Mecca has become just like Ephesus, the city which held the meteorite image which fell down from heaven. They too chanted that Diana was great. For the Muslims, just like Ephesus, also bow down to an image which fell from heaven. And Muslims are seen kissing and caressing the stone as if the stone was a woman. Indeed, Mecca is the great harlot whose worshippers call her great. And it's the very title written on her forehead, Babylon the Great. When the angel took John into the desert to see this harlot, he told him that it wasn't just a false religious system, but a religious city as well. The only religious city which can be found in a desert is Mecca. And shockingly, the very symbol of the star of Semiramis, the harlot, is still being worshipped today by Muslims around the world, in the form of the Kaaba stone. The Muslims claim that the Kaaba stone was a star which fell from heaven. It's the very same star symbol of Semiramis, the Queen of Heaven. And she is still being worshipped today, exactly where the angel said this harlot could be found. In the wilderness, or desert. Babylon is not Rome, neither is it New York, for neither of those places are found in a desert. The last time Israel was in the desert, they were also worshipping a false god, the golden calf, which Moses smashed. This was the same bull calf god from Egypt. The bull god carried the very symbol of the harlot Isis between its crescent-shaped horns. Thanks to the discoveries of Ron Wyatt, we know exactly that this false worship took place in the desert of Saudi Arabia, where the altar for the golden calf still stands, kept secret by the Saudi Arabian government. The very same country and desert where the Jews were worshipping this golden calf beast and star symbol of the harlot is the same country and desert in which we find the city of Mecca. Mecca has become the global center of moon and star worship, the exact same religion of ancient Babylon. Before Islam, Mecca was a city dedicated to many false gods. The false goddess, Alat, was the wife of Allah. Alat was the moon goddess and fertility goddess Semiramis, which Satan has used from the beginning. Her shrine was the Kaaba, which housed Alat's most famous idol, a black stone meteorite. Muhammad took the city of Mecca in 632, and Muhammad entered her shrine and destroyed Alat's idols. Yet her black stone idol was preserved, and Muhammad even helped to position her black stone idol in the east wall of the Kaaba. Indeed, the Kaaba stone is the idol of the harlot. The angel told John that this harlot sits on many waters. Then he said to me, the waters which you saw, where the harlot sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations and languages. The angel told John that the waters were not seas, but people from all over the world, from many peoples, nations and languages. This is an amazing description, seeing as the Muslims come from all over the world for the Hajj. These people flow in and circle around the Kaaba like water. Indeed, this harlot does sit on many peoples, nations and languages, and they all fall down and worship the image of Semiramis or Diana, which fell from heaven. The Muslim call to prayer exactly mirrors Nebuchadnezzar's form of worship. Nebuchadnezzar set up an image in the plain of Dura. When all the people in his kingdom heard the music, which was a call to prayer, they all had to bow down toward the image which he set up, or he said they would be put to death. This is identical to the Islamic form of worship. It's exactly the same form of Babylonian worship planned against Edom, what he purposed against all who live in Timan. At the sound of their fall, the earth will treat themselves and their countries to obtain oil. But how can we all drunk? The nations drank it. Arabia is known in Arabic as Al Jazeera, Al Arabia, meaning the Arab island, or the desert by the sea. The original Babylon is not located near the sea, but Mystery Babylon is. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the harlot, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. God warns his people to flee Mystery Babylon. Up, escape to Zion, you who dwell in daughter Babylon. Run away from Babylon. Run for your lives. You shouldn't die because of Babylon's crimes. This is the time for the vengeance of the Lord. He will pay the people of Babylon back for what they have done. Babylon was a golden cup in the Lord's hand. It made the whole world drunk. The nations drank its wine. That is why the nations have gone insane. Sharpen the arrows. Gather the shields. Jehovah has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, which is Iran, for his plan is against Babylon, to destroy it. Yes, Iran will be amongst the Beast Alliance nations who destroy Mecca and Saudi Arabia. And Iran is going to use its nuclear weapons against Saudi Arabia. Many have wondered what the flying scroll is in the book of Zechariah. And behold, a flying scroll. And he said to me, what do you see? And I answered, I see a flying scroll. And he said to me, this is the curse that goes forth over the face of the whole earth. I will bring it forth, says Jehovah of hosts. And it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him who swears falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall devour it, and its timber and its stones. This flying scroll is a nuclear missile. For God tells Zechariah that it will devour timber and stones. And God even told us from where this nuclear missile would come. God said they would build a house for it in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there on its own base. The land of Shinar includes parts of both Iraq and Iran. But why would the beast The Islamic Antichrist and his caliphate want to destroy Saudi Arabia because she is still a harlot. The kings of the earth practiced sexual immorality with her, and the people of the world became drunk from drinking the wine of her immorality. How do the kings commit sexual immorality with Saudi Arabia? And what is the wine which Saudi Arabia has, which has made the earth drunk? This whore lives in a desert, and yet she produces wine in this desert. What is the wine of the desert which has made the earth drunk today? What wine have the kings of the earth prostituted themselves and their countries to obtain? Oil. But how can we be sure that the whore's wine is oil? This is the time when the Lord will rescue Zion and take vengeance on her enemies. The rivers of Edom will turn into tar, and the soil will turn into sulfur. The whole country will burn like tar. Tar is simple crude oil. The beast and his alliance, which includes Iran, will destroy Saudi Arabia, and its oil will burn, because the beast wants full control over the Middle East's oil, and Saudi Arabia will refuse to stop supplying the West, which the Islamic Caliphate wants to control. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will fight with them there for my people and for my inheritance Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and divided my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a prostitute, and sold a girl for wine, so that they might drink. After the Islamic Antichrist conquers Jerusalem, he will divide the land up amongst the Islamic nations, and the children will be sold to the Arab nations for prostitutes and traded for wine, which is oil. The kings of the earth have been in bed with Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia owns 1/5 of the world's proven oil fields. Saudi Arabia sells her oil across the world, especially to the West. The Islamic beast hates Saudi Arabia because of her whoring economic policies. But God hates Saudi Arabia for a different reason. Not only is Saudi Arabia pouring her oil to countries in exchange for more Islamic control over the world, but Saudi Arabia is also the greatest whore on earth, because she is also spreading her false religion to the world through Mecca. And the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these will hate the harlot, and will make her desolate and naked, and they will eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. If you think it's unlikely that the beast would attack Mecca, think again. The Islamic Caliphate has already burned the Kaaba once, when it bombed the city of Mecca. Iran sees Saudi Arabia as a traitor for sending oil to Islam's hated enemies. Islam itself has declared that Mecca will be destroyed. They have said the Mahdi will rule the world from Jerusalem because Mecca will be destroyed. Some Islamic prophecies also declare that other areas of Saudi Arabia will be destroyed as well. The flourishing state of Jerusalem will be when Medina is in ruins. The ruined state of Medina will be when the Great War comes. Many have missed this next verse, which describes people crying over their city and casting dust on their heads. And they cast dust on their heads, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city! When last did you see a Westerner casting dust on their heads, in anguish? It's not a Western custom, but it's still an Arab Middle East custom, to cast dust on one's head in anguish. And Babylon shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited forever, nor shall it be lived in from generation to generation. Nor shall the Arabian pitch his tent there, nor shall the shepherds make their flocks lie down there. Why would the Arabian be pitching his tent in the Vatican or in New York? The scriptures are clear. Babylon is in Saudi Arabia. That is where the Arabian pitches his tent, and where the flocks lie down. Mystery Babylon is a city of slavery. The merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her because no one buys their cargoes anymore, human beings sold for slaves. Saudi Arabia has been condemned by numerous human rights groups for its horrific treatment of an imported foreign labor force. Saudi Arabia is also the home of one of the largest sex slavery trades in the world. The harlot believes that no one can see her atrocious behavior. She boasts of seeing no sorrow. In her heart she boasts, I sit enthroned as queen. I am not a widow. I will see no sorrow. Saudi Arabia tries to hide the terrible conditions of the lower class and attempts to cover up the abominable sex trade and to conceal the decadent lifestyles of the rich oil barons who control Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is renowned for the unparalleled decadence of the ruling class, while her workforce slaves away in terrible conditions. And she spends money like a queen, according to scripture. Merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linen and purple, silk and scarlet, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of most precious wood, bronze, iron, and marble, and cinnamon and incense, perfume and frankincense, wine and oil, fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and chariots, and bodies and souls of men. The harlot Babylon is a big importer and a massive consumer. Saudi Arabia imports these exact same goods. Saudi Arabia is famous for its gold and jewelry markets. Mecca and its suburbs import everything, because their entire country is a desert. The lustful oil countries of the world have made Saudi Arabia rich beyond her wildest dreams, and she is decked with gold and precious jewels. And Mecca is the city that sits as a queen upon the heart of the Beast Empire, which is the Islamic Caliphate. Soon the Beast Empire will be revived, and the Islamic Antichrist will proclaim that he is the true Messiah and Mahdi, and the false prophet will perform miracles to deceive many, and these miracles will falsely claim Islam to be the one true religion, and that following the Mahdi will bring peace, money and joy to the world, and people will flock to see the miracles being done by Islam. Jesus warns people not to go out to the desert to see the so-called Messiah. If you are told that the Messiah is out in the desert, don't go there. Matthew 24:26. The desert Jesus was likely referring to is Mecca, and Jesus warns his people not to go to this desert to see this false Messiah. Jesus also said that there would be false wonders being done in Jerusalem by false prophets. A false prophet is someone who points to a false Messiah. Indeed, there will be many Muslims trying to deceive even the elect Christians into following the Mahdi. And there will be great signs performed by Satan when this Mahdi is revealed. 2 Thessalonians 2:9 says, when the wicked one appears, Satan will pretend to work all kinds of miracles, wonders, and signs. Lost people will be fooled by his evil deeds. They could be saved, but they will refuse to love the truth and accept it. So God will make sure that they are fooled into believing a lie. God says these people will be deceived by these miracles of Satan because they refuse to love the truth and accept it. But what is the truth? It's that God became flesh, born of a woman, and suffered and died on the cross for our sins, and was raised again from the dead. But the Islamic Antichrist and false prophet will preach the exact opposite of the Bible, and it will be a great delusion and a lie, and this lie will be attended by the signs and miracles of Satan, and people will be drawn to Islam. You have been warned. Mystery Babylon is the mother of all cults. Now we know that Babylon is Mecca, and the beast is the coming revived Islamic Caliphate and its king. The book of Daniel tells us the story behind the little horn Antichrist and the area from which he arises. Daniel describes the conquest of King Darius in Persia by Alexander the Great. The Grecian kingdom is described as a goat, and the Persian kingdom the ram. A goat came rushing out of the west, moving so fast that his feet didn't touch the ground. He had one prominent horn between his eyes. He came toward the ram, which I had seen standing beside the river, and rushed at him with all his force. I watched him attack the ram. He was so angry that he smashed into him and broke the two horns The ram had no strength to resist. He was thrown to the ground and trampled on, and there was no one who could save him. Alexander the Great conquered Persia and King Darius. The goat grew more and more arrogant, but at the height of his power, his horn was broken. In its place 4 prominent horns came up, each pointing in a different direction. At the height of Alexander's conquest, he suddenly died, and his 4 generals divided his goat empire between themselves. The Bible then describes the little horn Antichrist coming from one of the parts of Alexander's divided kingdom. Out of one of these 4 horns grew a little horn, whose power extended toward the south and the east and toward the promised land. It grew strong enough to attack the army of heaven. These were the divisions of Alexander's kingdom, and it's only from one of these divisions which the Antichrist can appear. He cannot come from Rome or America, because the Bible clearly says that he comes out of one of the 4 horns, which represent the divided kingdom of Alexander. And Alexander's 4 generals never extended their kingdoms further than the Middle East, and the farthest northern part was Greece. Daniel chapter 11 narrows the area even more by calling the Antichrist the king of the north. The king of the north was the Seleucus kingdom, which included Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. And it's this area we should be watching for the Antichrist to appear. Let's discover where the Bible says the seat of the beast is located. The Bible even tells us which country to watch for the revival of the beast. It's Turkey. And it's the very country which is now stepping forward, trying to revive the Ottoman Empire, calling it the Neo-Ottoman Order. Turkey is positioning itself as a peace mediator in the Middle East. Israel will sign the 7-year peace agreement with Turkey and put their trust in Turkey, relying on them for security in the Middle East. But they will literally be signing a covenant with the Antichrist himself, who will be mediating this peace deal between Israel and many other Muslim nations. The Bible calls this a covenant with death, and clearly tells us that Israel will rely on the Turkish Antichrist until he attacks them. Turkey was the seat of the Ottoman Empire, but it was also the seat of the Eastern Roman Empire. Jesus himself told us that the beast would come from Turkey. And to the angel of the church in Pergamos, which is in Turkey, write, He who has the sharp sword with 2 edges says these things. I know your works, and where you live, even where Satan's seat is, where Satan dwells. Jesus is telling us not only that Satan dwells in Turkey, Pergamos, but that his very seat of power is in Turkey, not Rome. Turkey was the Eastern Roman Empire. Rome moved its capital to Constantinople. It's from there which we should expect to see the prince who comes mediating a peace deal with Israel. Now let's compare the next verse, where Satan gives that very same seat to the beast. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. Did you catch that? Where did Jesus say the seat of Satan was? Pergamos, Turkey. This is the very same seat of power that Satan gives to the Antichrist beast. The Antichrist's seat is in Turkey. The book of Daniel calls him the little horn. Surprisingly, Istanbul, which was the very capital of both the Roman and Ottoman Empire, is shaped just like a little horn, and its very name is the golden horn. The Bible describes the beast having had 7 heads, which describe the kings and their kingdoms. These were Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome, and the Ottoman Empire became the 7th head. The angel said that the 7 heads were 7 kings, because unless the king of the empire falls, the kingdom remains alive. So when Rome fell, did the Roman Empire fall? No, it moved its king and capital to Turkey, and that kingly line continued right up until it was defeated by the Ottoman Empire. Then Rome and its king fell. The Ottoman Empire is the missing seventh head of the beast, and it has come and gone, without people even realizing it was there. And yet it clearly left its mark on Jerusalem. For the Ottoman Empire is the same empire which rebuilt Jerusalem as it stands today. But how do we know that the Ottoman Empire was the seventh head? Well, from the time of Egypt, right up until 1923, and the end of the Ottoman Empire, there has been an unbroken line of empires or heads ruling the Middle East. The Beast Empire has been alive from Egypt to the Ottoman Empire. But where is the beast now? It's dead. And it's dead because it was only given 7 heads. And the last empire, which was the Ottoman Empire, was given a deadly wound, which killed the whole beast. And there was no empire to take its place. So it died, and it descended into the bottomless pit. Wikipedia says the empire fought against the Allies in the First World War, and at the end of the war, it was partitioned by the Allies. The Bible says the head of the beast was wounded to death by the sword which cut into the beast's 7th and final head was World War I. And that same sword of the Allied nations divided up or cut up the Ottoman Empire into the Middle East countries we have today. The Bible says, "And I saw one of his heads, as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. But its deadly wound will be healed when the 7th head of the Ottoman Empire comes back to life as an 8th empire. And it will ascend from the bottomless pit, and its wound will be healed when all the divided Ottoman nations are reunited under Turkey." These are the 10 horns the Bible speaks of, which are on the beast. These will hand over their power to the Turkish beast, which was ruled by the Caliph, the successor of Muhammad. According to Wikipedia, the name Caliph is translated from the Arabic word Khalifa, meaning successor or substitute. Muslims often say the Caliph is the substitute for Muhammad, but in the Quran, it is used to establish Adam's role as representative of God on earth. Did you catch that? The Quran says Khalifa is like God on earth. And the Caliph is both a religious as well as political leader, and he is a successor to Muhammad and all the prophets. So not only does Caliph mean replacement for God on earth, but the Caliph is also the substitute for Muhammad and all the prophets. Muslims claim that Jesus was just one of their prophets. So the very seat the Caliph holds is not only as God on earth, but substitute for Jesus as well. Amazingly, the word Antichrist does not only mean against Christ, but substitute for Christ as well. The title of Caliph matches this description perfectly. There is a reason why Satan's seat is in Turkey. It's because the Garden of Eden was located there. Remember, Adam and Eve were the rulers of this world until they forfeited their seat to Satan. And Satan will give that very seat of Adam to the Islamic Antichrist. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom, and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. God is telling us not only that Satan is in Eden, but so is the Antichrist. And Eden is in Turkey. Remember, Jesus said, just as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the days of the Son of Man. Guess where the Ark of Noah was located? In Turkey. Turkey is indeed the place to watch. The very color of Turkey's flag is like a scarlet beast. And as we've discussed, the crescent and star is the very symbol Satan has chosen to depict himself down through the ages through false gods. Satan's chosen king will rise from an alliance of Arab nations which include Turkey, Iraq, and Iran. The reason why the beast is described as a mixture of animals, of lion, bear, and leopard, is firstly because it denotes the 3 old empires which unite to form this beast. These were Babylon the lion, Persia the bear, and Greece, which included Turkey the leopard. But this mixture also describes the Arabs themselves and their kingdom. Not only did John see the harlot in the desert of Saudi Arabia, but he also saw the beast, which was upholding her. There is a very good reason why the beast was sitting in the Arabian desert, and why it was described as a mixed animal. Because God was describing the people of the kingdom itself. The Arabs take their name from Arabia itself. The name Arabia in Hebrew is Arab, meaning a mixture, or mixed people, or mixed company. The Arabs are known as the mixed people, because they are a mixture of all the races in the Middle East. Amazingly, God was describing the Arab race itself as a mixed beast. Also in the book of Daniel, God describes the kingdom of the Antichrist as a mixture of iron and clay. And the Hebrew word used to describe this mixed kingdom is the very word, Arab, which is the Hebrew word for mixed. Daniel literally said, the kingdom of the Antichrist will be an Arab kingdom. The Bible describes another figure, called the false prophet. He will likely be seen as a religious leader. He is described as having lamb's horns. The Bible says he will rise from the earth or land, which is in contrast to the beast, who rises from the sea, of Islamic nations. The opposite of the sea is the earth, and the earth is actually a reference to the land of Israel. So this second kingdom will rise from the conquered parts of Israel and Jerusalem, which is why it's described as having 2 lambs' horns. And it's possible that this false prophet will be Jewish, and may even claim to be Jesus Christ. And he will do false wonders, like bring fire from heaven, which will deceive both Jews and Muslims. And this false prophet will point to the Islamic Antichrist, declaring him the true Messiah. And this false prophet will deceive all into submitting to the Caliph and his empire. And he will tell those in the Middle East to set up an image to honor the revived Islamic empire. And it deceives those dwelling on the earth because of the miracles which were given to it to do before the beast, saying to those dwelling on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, who had the wound by a sword, and lived. The Bible doesn't tell us what form this image will take, but it will be built to honor the revived Islamic empire, and the false prophet will enable it to speak. The Bible warns that if any bow down to this image of the Islamic empire, they will be cast into hell forever with the Antichrist. The number 666 can be found in the very seal of the Ottoman caliphs themselves. Their seal is called the Tugra. It contains both a Hebrew and a Greek number 666. The Hebrew 666 consists of the letter Vav, repeated 3 times. And right on top of the Hebrew is found a Greek number 666, which is the letter Stigma, again repeated 3 times. Sometimes the caliphs use a pseudonym next to their name, like Al-Ghazi, meaning the warrior. And you can clearly see a 666 in this pseudonym. Indeed, the name of the caliph, written in the Tugra, may very well be the mark of the beast, for it contains both the name of a man and his number, and also the mark of his empire, the crescent and star. The Bible compares the Antichrist to a star fallen from heaven, like Lucifer, who fell, and like the very Kaaba stone itself, fallen from heaven. Isaiah 14:12 says, "How you are fallen from the heavens, Lucifer, O shining star, son of the morning. How you are cut down to the ground, you who weakened the nations." The very image of Lucifer is the star, fallen from heaven. And the Islamic Antichrist will use a star symbol as a representation of himself, which is why we find the name of the Caliph in the sun symbol, because the 666 was a representation of the sun god. And we know from our studies that the sun god is really the serpent, Satan. And by putting the Caliph's name in the sun, or star, Satan is declaring the Caliph to be the 666. So now you know the Ottoman crest is totally satanic, for the crescent and star has been Satan's personal symbol throughout all of his 7 kingdoms. And it's the very star and crescent symbol found on the Egyptian golden calf.
Well, I have returned. Strange how that finished right at the end. I'm going to have to replay the end of it there because for some reason my internet went out right at the end of that video. I'm going to play the end of that video back again. Let me get the screen share back up here. Well, hang on. I'm at the wrong one. Strange how that finished right at the... Got to pull up the YouTube again. Go into history. What was we just watching? And I'll go back to the end of it again, where it cut out on us.
We find the name of the Caliph in the forehead or right arm, and do not worship the image which he sets up, even though it speaks, and he may be put to death or imprisoned because of your refusal to bow to it. Rather believe in God's only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for your sins. Call upon his name, and you shall be saved. Only Jesus has the power to save. His name is the only one in all the world that can save anyone. And salvation is found in no other. So cry out to God today. Ask him to forgive you of all your sin. Symbol of the Islamic Empire.
Okay.
It's the mark of its name. So to recap, do not bow down to the Caliph, nor and believe in what he did for you on the cross, and you shall be saved. John 3:16. For God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Please pray this prayer today. Father God, I believe that you sent your Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for my sins. I believe that he died and was resurrected and is coming back to judge the living and the dead. Father, I repent. Please forgive me of all my sins. Come into my heart and make me your child. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. If you have said this prayer and decided to turn from your life of sin and follow Jesus Christ, then you have become a child of God. Please go and find a born-again Christian church where you can have fellowship with other believers. Thank you for listening. Please see our other broadcasts on the end days.
All right. Well, that was the end of that. Let's see here. So, anyhow, like I said, it was kind of strange that right when at the end of that, where it was showing how the Muslims today are already wearing the headbands with those markings on them, and on their armbands and everything, have those Muslim or Islamic sayings on bands too. Or all of a sudden, well, it's not all of a sudden. Over the last few years, they started doing that as a sign of their jihad. So, you couple all this together with all these things going on in the world, you've got some pretty, it didn't look like 2014, 2015 is going to be a good time. It's not going to be party time. Except for, Miley Cyrus maybe. The younger people that aren't paying any attention to what's going on around them. They're going to get blindsided by everything that's fixing to happen. And anyhow, I'm going to leave it at that. So I'm going to disconnect now. And See y'all later. Hopefully the internet will work on the next chat.